All right. No. Let me see if we back now. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. We are sorry for the slight delay. We are sorry for the connectivity issues, but we could only assume that somebody, the system farm, somebody throwing a monkey into the wrench. We may have to share this link again to get more people to come back in because we had to start over. I had to restart my whole computer and all sorts of drama. So I don't even think we're talking to anybody right now, Derek. One person. So just me and you. So what I can do is I can share everything here again, which is copy. Let me go here to you. Go there. Go there.
We got people back in.
People coming back in now?
Rommel is in the house as well.
Who?
Yes, I'm back here. Technical difficulties again.
Yes. Let me get our guest in. Here we go. Rightio. So let's get him in the proper position. Right. So we have him there. Right. So now that we got the whole gang here together, good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. How many people we dealing with here so far, Derek?
Look at it, 10.
We got 10 people. Okay. Well, sorry about that, everybody. Technical difficulties and all of that. So we can start from the beginning. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Senate. I am your host, Neil Hoyt. The guy in the nice scarf/shawl is Derek Marshall. He's your other host. And in the middle, we have a very special guest, the man of the social media infamy. We have Rommel Miller. Good night, fellas. How you doing? Normally, Rommel, how we start is we normally just check in on each other, see how everybody is doing in terms of mental health and well-being and just everything like that. And then we go into everything. So,
cool.
So you can tell us how you're doing, and then we can go to Derek to see how you're doing. How you doing, man, Rommel?
Man, not so good, Honestly, not so good at all.
Oh, dear.
Got a lot of personal and professional challenges. That's how I would put it. But all will be dealt with in due time.
Okay.
Like that attitude.
Yeah, Derek.
Definitely.
Derek, how you doing?
Man, I can't complain at all. We back shut down again, but I manage him, man. I manage him. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man.
Yeah.
The guy says, bro, Justice says, Rommel, who has died for our sins.
Yeah.
He ain't reached that status yet, Justin, but he headed up there.
Mazzy's a martyr.
Shout out Jimmy in the house. But yeah, man, we shut down again. 11 o'clock curfew. Basketball cut back. So
disaster.
The cardio lick up. So yeah, man, I hear Biden is fighting along, as people will say, but we work with what we have,
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Neil? Talk to us.
Man, I good. As I said before, all these technical issues. My only concern right now is I don't know when Monkey come in the range. I don't know. We say we got Rommel Miller tonight, and all of a sudden the Gremlins come out and trying to put the
to shut down the message.
So
it's the
system fam. But we here. We good. I good. The guys good. Derek. We Derek would have talked about G Syndicate, talked about what's in the pipe works in terms of new music and everything like that. Derek, you could plug G Syndicate and the Senate. Let everybody know where they can find us, and then we can jump right into this thing head first.
Yeah, man. So gsyndicate6.com, gsyndicate6 on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Shout out to you guys as well. And of course, you're listening to the Senate podcast, so you can check us out. The Senate Podcast here on YouTube and Facebook. The Senate Podcast 246 on IG. And you can email us, senateinsession@gmail.com. Right? We are always keen to take on your topics and look at them from a man's perspective. And that is what we're doing here tonight.
No.
So Rommel, let me get into it a little bit, Rommel. Because last week we did a show. Last Tuesday night we did a show, and then on the Wednesday I got up and I realized I was tagged in a post from the Chase Files. Shout out Stephanie Chase and her blog of sorts, if you want to call it a blog, right? So I read this post and I found it very, very interesting because it's a lot of the stuff that we say here on Tuesday and Thursday nights, right? So before we actually get into the actual post, because it was very enlightening to see the thought process behind it. So we've never met each other. We were meeting Rommel for the first time.
Yeah.
Folks.
No. And here's a question before we go on, Derek. I just want to make to question Rommel. Do you have any idea what's the red pill life or any of that type of content? Do you know anything about red pill or the manosphere? Manosphere, anything like that?
No, not.
Would that make it even better or worse, depending on how you look at it? But
or worse,
all right, continue, Derek.
Yeah, so that was one of the questions I wanted to ask. So how did you come to this kind of awakening of sorts, Rommel? If you could.
Actually, Derek, I think I came, as you use the word awakening, I came this awakening. I used to live and work in Central and South America.
Okay.
When I was down there, the contrast between the attitude of Latina women to the attitude of our local women, it really threw me for a loop, right? And it really made me realize that our women in Barbados for too long, right? They haven't been held apart for introspection, right? They haven't been, and that's part of the problem, they haven't been scrutinized. So whenever you critique our women, even though you're critiquing from a positive space, they take every critique as a negative and as an assault. But I think it is time that women take responsibility for their own decisions, for their own actions, and stop trying everything on men. We will take our heat when it is deserved. But I'm tired of women trying them shit on us as well. You know, deal with your decisions and your shit, and let us deal with ours, and we can come together, and everybody can live better.
I see you. I get you. It's interesting that you said that our women have never been, as you say, held apart, so that they've been held up to examination, because that's something that Shahrazad Ali, she said back in the 90s, that the black woman in general has never been held up to that kind of introspection. And I found that interesting that there's a comment that you had made. No, have you ever heard of Shahrazad Ali?
Yes, of course.
Right. Good.
I think I would have, you know what? I think I would have read something that she wrote on women a while back.
Yeah. She wrote a book many years ago, I think back in the same 80s or 90s, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. I think that's the name of the book. And so that was her book way back then. So why did you make the post? We're gonna get into the post in a few minutes, but I just wanted to understand why you felt it necessary to provide such a commentary on a place like a platform like Facebook, knowing the kind of outrage that you would get and the kind of pushback you get, particularly from women, when you make a comment like that.
Well, I would say from earlier this year, I made a promise to myself. You know, the lockdown made a lot of people think about things that they probably wouldn't have thought about before, you know.
Yeah.
And there are two social topics that have been at this year, very controversial. One is religion, and I don't want to offend nobody, but if you check some of my posts from this year, let me tell you, that was a hot one. That was a hot one. So one was religion, and the next was relationships, because I found that too many of our women has taken it for the norm that, man, you can have children. I don't necessarily need to be married to the man. I don't necessarily. In fact, I've heard some women say, because the biological clock is ticking, they're basically on the hunt for any man. I'm serious, Derek. For any man to produce this child that they want.
Okay.
And I'm saying, I have linked that condition. Black people, we, in almost every society across any ethnic group, any place, Black people are always at the bottom of the social round. And when you examine it, you see there's a direct correlation with the fact that too many of our Black women are having children and not seeing the need to have children within the context of either marriage, a committed relationship, within the context of being able to provide a stable home for them. And the data does not lie. One-parent families are going to be much poorer than two-parent families. Their children are going to suffer much more trauma, much more problems with socialization, education, than children who basically come up, even if the dad isn't under the same roof, the dad has a presence in the child's life, those children produce better citizens. So, in a nutshell, I made it my mission to call out women on a lot of the things that they're doing that are wrong, but you can't tell them nothing, because as I tell you, they circle the wagons, this sister code thing come up, right? Because they don't want to hold themselves accountable. And from there, it is bare ad hominem attacks. They don't even deal with the issue no more.
Let me get into the issue.
Wait, hold on. I got one more question. I got one more question before we go on, man. Rommel, no, you made a very good point there about the Black community, right? And you spoke about the criticism that you are giving, right? And we've spoken about it on this show before, where we spoke about, we taking accountability for our community, which is the men. This is why we started this space and everything like that, and the women having to, and we encourage the women that follow the Senate, shout out to the 237 ladies, we always encourage them to kind of check their camp as well, check their community, right? But you speak about the Black community. Speak a bit more about why you think that is important to kind of make sure we have our ducks in a row, so to speak. Because, I mean, we all know that the Black community is suffering. We all agree that we are the lowest on the totem pole. We know that by and large, we are the most oppressed and downtrodden race on the planet. So speak about why it's so important for you and for spaces like this to exist for the Black community and for men and women with men and women of color.
Okay. It is important for me for several reasons. One, I can give a pass to previous generations, like my dad's generation and my mom's and grandparents' generation, that did not have the benefit of an education, right? My dad always told me he had to left school at 12 or 13 and start to work. So my dad's education stopped at 12 or 13 years. And that was common. Now, if the generations that went before us without the benefit of education made sacrifice to make sure that we, this generation, is educated, then we have a duty to make our community, to leave our community better than we found it, right? And how are Black people going to do that in a society where, as you said, and rightly so, we are at the bottom of the totem pole? The only vehicle for us through change is education. So I feel educated people like us, we need to speak out on issues particularly that affect Black people and try to make them better, because if we don't speak out on certain issues, if we see rot going on and we don't do anything to stop that rot, we're basically going to be repeating and repeating a cycle. And let me make it clear to the women that are on this post, I love women. I love women bad, right? But my critiques on women is not from a place where I'm trying to pull you down. I'm looking at some women have individual standards. But what I want to see women do is have a standard for all women, not just this body got a particular standard that they're held by, but another person doesn't adhere to the same standard. Women should have a universal standard. There should be certain things that our women decide is true or right or false and wrong.
Mhm.
And we can go from there.
All right.
All right. Let me get into the post that caused so much contention, right? Neil, if you could put it on screen for me so that I can have a read down for those of you who haven't seen it. You're watching the Senate podcast here on Facebook, also on YouTube, although I think somebody said that the YouTube stream went down, so
Yeah.
you have a look at it.
Yeah, what I could do is I could post because I have the YouTube. I had to create a new YouTube link. I don't know if you want me to put it in the comment section of.
Yeah, you can do that.
All right, so I can do that right now. Just give me a second. You could.
Yeah, we are the Senate podcast, guys, here on Facebook and on YouTube. The Senate podcast 246 on IG. The Senate in session at gmail.com. Sophia is saying, I think it is a blatant generalization about children from a single parent home, by the way. Please note, I was raised by a single father. And yes, that's true, but the data, as Rommel said, does not like single parent children raised in a single parent home tend to face more challenges in terms of growing up and stuff like that. So,
but Derek, on that point though, just quickly, you just read a comment from who?
Sophia.
Please let Sophia know, right, that anytime she's going to debate, arguing the exception, she's already lost that debate, because any boy can win the lotto, but how many people do it? So yes, there will always be exceptions, but exceptions do not negate the trend or the rule or the data.
Yeah. So we can get it. Yeah, matter of fact, they say the exception proves the rule, right? Yeah. So maybe on screen yet?
Well, we here now. We on screen now.
All right. So let me take a little look at it, right? We're gonna go through it bit by bit and deal with it, right? So a couple seconds behind. So just right. So here we go. The following was written by my colleague Rommel Miller. So I'm sharing because it's a valid perspective coming from a happily married man. Let me stop right there. I think that is important that everybody gets that. Stephanie, who wrote this, Stephanie Chase, she says she thought it was a valid perspective. Stephanie is a woman.
Yes.
Okay? She's not a man. This is not a man being misogynistic, sexist, any of this. This is a woman saying she thinks that the following perspective is valid. Let us also note that Rommel is a happily married man. Okay? And he said earlier in the broadcast that he likes women. He is not a misogynist. He is not a sexist. He is not a toxic male. None of those things, right? Good. So, as usual, I encourage you to read and feel free to share your views respectfully. Here we go. Assets and liabilities. Women, how many of you with sons would approve of your son coming home one day and saying, "Mommy, I found a woman with 4 kids from 4 different men and was never married to any of them, but I am going to marry her"? How many of you want that deal for your son? If not, why? Now you understand how a lot of us men view some of you who keep devaluing yourselves like this. We can stop right there. Because as I told you, Rommel, I got tagged in this. Tagged personally. Felt a little attacked. I felt a little attacked. I was tagged personally, and somebody also tagged the show, right? And I found it interesting as I went through the comments. Right? As I went through the comments. Nobody addressed the issue. Right?
Of course not.
They kind of went into, as you said, the ad hominem attacks and, start saying, yeah, you got to be hated women. I saw all within like 5-6 comments. I saw all the buzzwords come out. Toxic masculinity on display, archaic thinking, patriarchal thinking, misogynistic.
Yes.
One man went as far as to say, just say that you hate women and done. You know,
Yeah.
I found that particularly interesting. That was the immediate response to something like that. But I want to throw it out here to the people in the chat tonight. I want you to answer the question: how many of you would want that particular deal? Remember, I said last week, men just want a good deal, right? Men just want a good deal. How many of you want a woman with 4 children from 4 different men for your son? I don't want you to get into all the other stuff. I don't want you to get into all that stuff, all the attacks and all the shaming language and all that. Answer the question. If you want it, just type yes. If you don't want it, type no, right? Let me keep going,
Right.
because I found this particularly interesting.
I feel back in there for you.
Thanks. So where are we? Well, if none of the 4 children fathers thought you fit for marriage, why should my son be the jackass among that illustrious group of men who laid with you? A woman's assets need to outweigh her liabilities for a man to jump at that deal and snap her up. Your youth is an asset, your body is an asset, your womb is an asset. Why are you giving them away for practically nothing? Stop turning your assets into liabilities by having multiple children from multiple different men without the coverage of marriage. Let me stop right there, Rommel, and just invite you to explain the line, because when we talked about this last week, I was saying I can understand why you would get the pushback, because the language is what it is, right? You pull no punches, you laid it out, Bram. This is what it is. So feel free to explain. I won't say defend, because I don't think you need to defend, but explain why you chose the language you chose, because the language is very deliberate. So why did you choose the language you chose for this particular discussion? Go ahead.
I chose accounting language of dollars and cents, because, well, I may be controversial, but this is what I believe. Because I believe women tend to only see the value of men in the bed, in the paycheck, or at the bank. So I use terms that they should understand, assets and liabilities. And it is true. Youth is an asset. Tell me something, Derek. If you buy a brand new car, right? You put it through its paces. You use that car for 10 years. Does that value go up?
No, hold on a minute, Rommel. Rommel. You know?
Yes.
So no, this is how I think, and Derek would tell you how I think is whenever you say certain things, people are going to come with the deflections. They're going to come with some way to kind of negate your argument. No, I can already hear the comments of some people out there saying, well, how you can liken a woman's body to a car, to a thing. How can you?
That's objectification.
That's objectification. Right? And hold on a minute. And you see, you comparing women to cars, seriously, literally, as I said that, Laura, thanks for joining us, Laura. Laura comes and she says that you're comparing women to cars. There's also the conversation where people can ask you, who are you to value women? Why are you giving value to a woman's age, a woman's body, a woman's womb? That's not your place. So again, I am just going by what people are going to say. And as soon as I said it, so said in comments. So kind of talk a bit. Why would you choose the analogy of a car? Why are you? What feels you? What empowers you to want to classify a woman's body into value?
I mean, you can't argue against observable reality. Whether women like it or not, the reality is that you are biologically made with a timestamp and an expiration date on you. Whether you like it or not. a woman in her 20s is worth way more to a man, first of all, because women don't like to hear the true facts about how men look at women. Men look at women for their bodies, how you look, if you look good, right? We don't get into this personality thing up front. The first thing is how you look, right? That's how we men judge women. We also judge you based on your youth, right? I would dare to suggest that most men want to reproduce themselves at some point, right? So if a man is looking to settle down with a woman and start a family, chances are he's not going to be looking at a woman in her 40s, right? We don't know that at 35, well, they say from 35 and up, pregnancies 35 and up, we call them geriatric pregnancies because they're more likely to suffer all sorts of complications. So that's where the youth come in, right? That's where the talking about your youth is an asset comes in, because it is true, right? When I talk about your body is an asset, that comes in because men are primarily going to be attracted to you on your physical appearance, how you look, how your body looks. So that's why I said body, that's why I said womb, right? That's why I said body, I said youth, and I said womb. I'm comparing, using the comparison to car, not out of any disrespect, but to give an analogy that I think is simpler for women to grasp, right? That's why I said there's no product out there that I can think about, I may be wrong, where the value goes up with use and age. Then a product that's go up in value with use and age. So in other words, women, if you're young and you're throwing both your bodies, you're just racking up body counts, right?
Yeah.
Body count, you're racking up a body count, right? And you're getting older. Over time, you're going to be less desirable for a man, especially a man that is looking to have settled down with you and have a family and have this type of relationship that really you as women should be aspiring to, right? A lady friend of mine last night, because I posted again, she lambasted me. You know what she told me? I have the effing right to have sex, to explore my sexuality with as many men as I feel like, and you don't have the right to tell me what to do with my body. I said, but that is true. But at the same time, don't tell me that you have control of your body, but you have control over the number of men you will sleep with. But yet you're telling me you don't have control over you getting pregnant for a fun friend. Huh? No, seriously. She was basically telling me, I can post it. She basically told her justification was that, oh man, you know, when you get into the heat of the moment and you just make mistakes. But I told her, but that wasn't what you were arguing before. You were arguing that you are in control of your body. This is your body. You can do whatever you feel like with it. Then pregnancy, you choose to get pregnant, you know. Let me tell you something, women. You choose who you go to bed with, and you choose who you get pregnant for. Those are the decisions that you make. They're not in our hands. So that is the reason I use the analogy of a vehicle, so women can understand that because they are young, it doesn't mean they're to make bad decisions in their youth, and then when they get old, you know, they end up better, and you hear about men as dogs and this thing and the next thing and the third.
But you see, that is the point there, right? Because no, I want to make it perfectly clear. I'm gonna put that into speech that everybody can understand, because this is what we've always been saying on this show, right? You have the right as man, woman, human being to do whatever you want to do. Our ancestors, our forebears, all of them fight for us to have the right to do whatever we want. But we have to understand that there are consequences for our actions.
Thank you.
And when the outcome is not desired, nobody owes you anything. Nobody owes you
Exactly.
anything. So it is fine. You can explore your sexuality, man, woman, beast, whomever,
Yeah.
right? Because
Correct.
this is the same thing for men too. But I feel as though whenever we speak, we got kind of put the disclaimer out there. If a man goes out there and sleeps with several women and impregnates several different women, he needs to check himself, because when he started to get carry court because he can't support all of them, when he started to get stressed because he can't provide for them, when he can the children grow up ain't got a father figure because you got so many children from so many different women, there's no stability, and your children turn out to be wayward or lacking in education or whatever like that because of choices you have made, then you are partly to blame for it, right? So we are not saying you see, I understand what the trigger is here. The trigger is here is because in your speech, in our speech, and whenever we speak toward women. Sometimes we speak toward men, but I hope people understand that this goes both ways. And we are all adults. If you land on, my mother used to tell me, if you land on doing big boy things, you gotta take care of big boy consequences.
Yep.
So if you're ready for sex, it was 17 or whatever, if you're ready for sex and you're ready to support a child, whatever, come out a day or whatever, then don't get on there.
But I can just rebut one thing you said, right? And it is, when I talk about women having multiple children with multiple men, they tend to say, use a false equivalency in my opinion and say about men that do it too.
Mm-hmm.
I want women to know that it is not the same for men, right? It is not the same. Not only that, you know me, a man. You know that the man have multiple children from multiple women
dear, no.
already, and you have a child for the same man.
Oh dear. Fact.
No, seriously. Who's the idiot here? Then you can turn around and say the man is a dog. He was a dog when he came to you sniffing around. You knew the man was a dog, and you laid with the man, and you produced another child. Most likely, this man ain't a Bill Gates. I talking about, that can support five children. In most cases, these men sometimes don't even have jobs. They can't support themselves. You mean as a woman, you want to push that decision on us?
And
come on,
and
man.
That is exactly the point. Exactly the point is, no, if we are talking about consensual sex, both parties have agreed to have unprotected sex. Of course, we know there are the anecdotal where the condom break and the pill don't work, and there are all of those things that we ain't talking about those. We talking about, my girl, you look good. My man, you look good. Let me lie down. We got condoms. We ain't need condoms for nothing. Go through. Raw is law. Remember, there is something to say. Yeah. Raw is law. And you gone in, you shoot at the club, child come, and then all of a sudden,
I know everybody looking at
everybody scrambling.
Yeah, no, I can tell you something. I will bet you the vast majority of those cases where women putting men in court, those men never signed up for a child.
Oh dear.
This was a fun thing. This was a fun thing. And afterwards, you told me about this child thing. I am telling you, and that is why a lot of men sometimes get frustrated with women, because sometimes women expect that because they tell a man, oh, I'm pregnant, that suddenly the man is to drop everything, especially if you weren't even the man's woman. Because there's another topic for another night though. But y'all has talk, a lot of women that say men are dogs, but a lot of these hornings that going on, one of us be horning the same man woman.
We've talked about that before, Rommel. Rommel.
Listen, let's be horning man woman.
You see,
and when I know,
you see the thing.
And when I know And then, well, there are cases too where men is lie to women. I ain't gonna tell no lies.
But here's the thing, Rommel.
You know
Here's the
that.
thing.
I mean,
But that's the thing is.
guilty as charged.
Oh well,
Guilty,
okay,
right?
fair enough.
Yeah, because listen,
Gotta be accountable.
listen, women,
Accountable. You gotta be accountable.
accountable. Women, we just lie to one another when you look good and we want peace. We would tell one anything to get in there. You know, you gotta got your head on. You gotta know. You know when a man really interested in you, the person, than if he just looking to get peace. No, seriously, right? I talking facts. I talking facts, right?
I mean, it's you see. I think the problem here is that the language chosen. I don't even have a problem with the language you chose, right? Because I read it, I didn't see anything wrong with what you said because we have spoken about it on this show, right? At the end of the day, there has been some sort of disconnect where people are not holding themselves accountable for their actions, whether it be men lying, whether it be women choosing duds, as Derek like to say, Claire's favorite word. But you know, it is one of those things where I see Marsha. Shout out to Marsha, that's my co-host there. So for this Justin Sports Show, check it out Mondays at 8. So the man can lie, but the women must have her head on. Gentlemen, Marsha, we need to take a break. We need to realize something, right? Because at the end of the day, we are human beings, yeah? Men, women are dogs, men and shit. We are all not no good. Good? We are human beings. So when we come from the standpoint of men gotta keep their head on too, Marsha, it's not like it's not Rommel is not saying that all men is life, so all women gotta keep their head on. But we men gotta keep their head on too, because they got men like me in their ear, so that we get into something with a woman and shoot, the woman saying we can left foot the condom tonight, and we know that this woman is not a woman that we want to carry home to mommy. You understand?
Okay, then.
Where the woman has engaged just in a sexual arrangement and nothing more. You see, we need to listen. For intelligent people, we don't sift through the language. You know, we see a sentence, process the sentence on its face value, and just move. The point of the matter is that we're not talking holistically. We're not talking about every woman. We're not talking about every man. Whom the cap fits. I say this every week. Whom the cap fits. So in the end, if you are going to be engaged, if you're going to deal with a man and you are doing adult things, whether it be unprotected, you got to deal with that, man and woman. If you having sex and you all agree not to have children and you are on the birth control, you want the man use condoms, but those systems fail and you get pregnant, then you all got a serious decision to make. There are several different options for you to deal with that. One of them being abortion, another one being plan B if you're in time for that. Another one is putting up your child for adoption. Another one is having the child. But the point is that we cannot get to a point, because you know what, men do it too. Men just have the children. We just lay them with some pretty bad ones. Got child mothers and things like that there. And then 5-6 years later, we cursing her under we breath in the club, in the bar. Oh shoot, she didn't good this and that and that. But you don't know that. You know she ain't a good. You know that she not good for you till you stick it indoor, but you know that she didn't a boy to carry on the mommy though. But you just want to have fun. You want the agency over your parts. You want to stick and move how you want to move. You have to be an adult and deal with your consequences. That's all I think Rommel is trying to say here. Men, women, everybody has to be accountable for it. Don't have a child, children for a different man, a man, whatever. The man is a dad, and you cursing and you breast all men is dogs. I mean, come on.
Exactly. But I just want to make a quick point, right? I always give a pass for the first child. No, always. I will always give a pass for the first child.
Mm-hmm.
Youthful exuberance, immaturity, whatever, right? I always give a pass for that first. But I cannot give a pass for the second, the third, and the fourth under the same circumstances. And getting back to something you said about the language, I use provocative language on purpose. As a woman lambasted me last night saying, my delivery is shit. I could have been able to say in a better way.
But you know
Right?
it don't
But
matter though,
she
Rommel.
didn't argue.
You know it don't.
Huh?
You know it don't matter about the delivery though.
But I
It
know
don't matter whether you deliver it harshly or you bring it over as diplomatic as possible. You as a man are talking about a woman and her body and her parts, and you are assigning value to them. Whether you come with the language that you use or you come all PC, it does not matter. And we said this on this show some time ago. We men, we can just stop talking about women. We can stop giving advice. We can stop checking the community. We can deal with ours. Because anytime a man speaks on a woman and any situation or anything we deem as detrimental to women and the man-woman dynamic and the black community, is always met with, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you to say this is part of the problem, the system, the patriarchal system, misogyny, sexism? So you know what? I feel as though what is going to start to happen is men can just stop, men can deal with themselves, men can level up, men can hold and check each other and say, look, you can't be having out here dropping children like you's a puppy. What you doing? How you living life? Take care of yourself and your business. And when the women realize that they're not sorting out themselves and they're not holding each other accountable, then. But I just feel like it, and I'm sorry to cross you and I sorry to go on this rant, right? But it bothers me a lot when all of these things are coming from a place of love. I did not read.
Listen.
I did not read your comments and say, you this man hate women. You this man.
Thank you.
I did not think that. I thought you see, whether it be an overwhelming majority or the subset of your community, which is the black community, you are seeing behaviors that don't make sense. You talked about women. Maybe you could have done a follow up to that about the men being irresponsible with that. Regardless.
No, I ain't doing. I ain't dealing with men at all.
But you hold on.
Man,
but you know.
Listen. But
Rommel,
we have been.
But here's
held under up to the microscope for years.
But that's what I was about. But that's what I was about to say, because you know what? You don't even have to hold them up. We said in this space, and everybody agreed, men control access to relationships, women control access to sex.
Yes.
The mere fact that you are saying that you carry a child or multiple children from multiple men to term, meaning you have control over your body, though. That is exactly the point. You have control. Whether the man want you get abortion or not.
Unless they were all one-night stands.
You understand? But you, women, have control over the access to sex. If a man sleeps with you unprotected, it is because you allowed it. Unless it is an extreme case of rape or sexual abuse.
But you made a point that I just need to reinforce. You said that I am writing these things out of love, even though it may not seem that way. And you want to know why? I have 3 daughters, buddy.
Okay, then.
3.
You don't want to see your 3 daughters getting out of the road?
Listen, I don't want that for none of my daughters. I have 3 daughters.
You have 3 daughters. Derek has a daughter, and I have a son.
Huh? I got a son too.
You got a son too, but you see, that's the whole point of it. The whole point of it is I think that the reason why a lot of these things are coming around is because we got children, young children, and we frightened for the next coming up. Because whether you got daughters, whether you got you think I want here my son at the age of 30 got four women pregnant, got 4 different children. I will feel like a failure as a man, as a father. So let me understand something here, people. Let me understand. I really hope my voice, my words can go as far as they could go. We are holding the entire black community accountable. Not just women, it is men too. Yes, men lie. Yes, men are dogs. Men go there and sleep around. Men just go and drop puppies and don't check behind them. Yes, and yes. But when we acknowledge that, and we say that, as Rommel said, we've been under the thumb, we've been scrutinized, we've been called dogs and ain't this and ain't that for so many years. But you know what? There has to be a level of accountability for women as well. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
And not only that, why I am about families. I am advocating for wholesome families and being attacked. What is wrong with telling you young women do not have children from men who have no intention of marrying you, who have no intention of honoring you with the title of wife? What is wrong with that? I see there's some dysfunction in the way our modern day women are thinking. I'm advocating for families. right? But I can tell you one more thing. There's an old proverb. I don't know if you guys ever heard it. It says, "A hit dog will holler." So my articles, I can hear enough women hollering
Because they hit it home. It hit it home.
It hit home, right? You pelt a rock among 15 dogs. The only dog gonna holler is the one that the rock hit. The other 14 ain't gonna holler with you. So, as I tell a woman in England, listen, a woman in England tell me, I know from reading your post, you was an ass everything. I tell she, a hit dog will holler. I can hear you hollering all the way from Barbados.
Boy, hold on, you know they can say no, they can clip that and say Rommel Miller, we calling women dogs now.
Well, it's a proverb. But you understand what I mean.
No, we understand what you mean. We understand you're not calling women dogs or anything like that. You're just making a relation that if you put out a statement and you catch feelings about it probably hit on the whom the cat fit.
Exactly. Who the cat
jump in the comments a little bit, guys. Just to say, people will jump on the idea of objectification just so they can ignore the context given by the analogy. Depreciation exists on both vehicles and human bodies. A company isn't going to hire a 70-year-old over a 30-year-old. A football club will trade the older players to keep its franchise younger with many possibilities for winning championships. Yeah?
True.
Let me see, we go forward. Cross is talking about geriatric pregnancy. She said, let's not use the term anymore. She says, and being realistic, the age risk is way different now to when that was standardized decades ago. Pregnancies at 35 plus are no longer as risky. We have other risk factors to worry about though, and there's definitely a timestamp on things, which is what Rommel would have said earlier. Laura is saying, welcome, good to see you, Laura. Laura is saying, I chose to have my kids within the confines of marriage. That was my choice, but that doesn't mean that I have to judge the woman who chooses a different path. And this is the interesting part, right?
Yes.
This is the interesting part of this, right?
I can listen to you first, Derek. I can listen to you first.
Because you said just now, essentially, who the cat fit, right? And a hit dog will holler. The interesting thing that we have is that the sister code that we spoke about.
Yes.
Some dogs ain't get hit and they're still hollering.
Yes.
That's the fascinating thing about this, right? And Neil said it, we want accountability for both sets of people, both men and women. And you said it before, men have been under the microscope, but you also said at the beginning, at the very top of the show, that women have not been held up for that introspection and that inspection. And I find that particularly interesting. And I see it every week that people who are not in the particular situations that we are talking about or trying to outline, they come to the defense of the sisters without saying, it could do better. And even though we saw a couple of people saying, yeah, I won't want that for my son, but some people aren't saying that that's what they want. Dion is saying the issue isn't judging them for the decision. The issue is owning the decision. Yeah, you got to own the decision. Marsha asked the question, does the panel believe a woman has value beyond childbearing years? Since her value, according to what is being said, seems to be tied to that. Of course,
a woman is a nurturer. I mean, no matter how old you are or whatever, you nurture. Granted, you may have children, you may not have children, but you still have to nurture, whether it be your home, whether it be your partner, whether it be any children, whatever, dogs, you still have to nurture. You have value. We're not saying that women don't have value past childbearing years, but we have to understand, because our species is such that our species, the purpose of our species is to procreate and continue our species. That is what life is about.
But I must add a caveat to that, though, right? I'm not trying to be gross or anything, but a woman past childbearing age will not necessarily attract a younger man who is looking to start a family. So if you're putting it in context, yes, you have value beyond your childbearing age, but it depends on who chooses
Correct.
you or who you choose for a partner.
Yeah.
Right? And this is why feminism has done more to harm
Oh
women
dear.
than to liberate them. Because feminism have lied to women to tell them you can have it all. You can go to university, you can do whatever, PhD, masters, whatever, get your good job, and you can still have. But biology says differently. Because I'm telling you, young women, if you want to have a family, right? You cannot go off studying for 12, 15 years and start in your 20s. I'm not saying that you cannot have one, but I'm saying because of the biological
Component.
fact that your body is ticking, you're ticking, you have to make a decision, right? Now, I know a lot of women that have gone and done postgraduate degrees for a job that will not pay them for the postgraduate degree, right? So you spent money pursuing a higher degree and you're back in a job that does not recognize the higher degree. Why are you doing it? As I heard someone said, and it's true, men don't really choose women based on how qualified you are, how educated you are. In fact, and I don't have the empirical evidence, but I would wager a bet that the most barren women in Barbados are the most qualified and educated ones. Like I said, I don't have any empirical evidence, but I would hazard a guess that the more qualified women in this island, if you got to check, they probably don't have children of their own. They probably are not married. They may be in a relationship. And then they try to race against the clock. I may be wrong. I haven't carried out any study. But all I am saying to women is sometimes in life, you got to make a choice.
No.
Right? I know women personally, will not call their names, that have told me, one good friend, Rommel, I regret, who is currently 50, no children, no man. And a day she had an honest conversation with me. She told me, Rommel, I regret when I was in my 20s. And this is a woman that had her pick of the bucks when she was younger, cause this woman, listen, this woman, the popping, men was coming from left, right, and center. And she told me, Rommel, I regret when I was in my 20s and 30s, and I was in the height of my youth, I didn't settle down and I didn't have a family. This coming from a woman.
All right, so
that's all I got to say on that.
So
Yeah,
wait, before you go on there, I just want to mention that we try to bring data here, Rommel. I understand that you may have your opinion and everything like that, but a lot of people are triggered obviously by what you say. There may be merit in it, there may not, but we got to understand that the exception does not make the rule. Sometimes it proves the rule. Whatever you want to come with, however you feel or whatever, just understand these are the perspectives of me. Right?
Correct.
So
yeah. Like I said, I didn't carry out any study, right? But I'm putting two and two together, and I'm telling myself, well, if you're in your 20s, you go to the university, you did a degree that is 4 years old. You may have graduated when you're 28. Then you decide you want to move on to this specialty and you do a master's and you do this and you do the next and the third. Chances are by the time you've done all that studying, you're about 40 or close there.
Yep.
Right? And that is not the ideal time that most women will choose to have families. Right? Mm-hmm. But all I am saying that you got to decide which is most important to you. A family may be more important to you than letters behind your name. So if a family is more important to you than letters behind your name, and you meet a man who loves you, you love the man, you all want a future together, why not start it? You can have children first and then go and study too. Can't you?
Some may argue that may be harder because the child is more demanding situation and the life and everything. But where there's a will, there's a way.
Well,
Where there's a
well,
will,
well,
where there's a will, there's a way.
no. You back to my point with family. It's only going to be hard if you have that children with somebody that left you and you're in a stable two-parent home where the husband can take up slack and care for the child while you study. That is a point again to show you the benefits of not just dropping children for 1, 2, 3, 4 different men and maintain that cohesive two-parent home. Right or wrong?
I mean,
Very
I
right.
mean,
Very
I
right.
mean,
Eh?
can't disagree. Derek, you want to go back into the comments?
Yeah, yeah. I have a grave difficulty trying to keep up with the comments, but something you said there, Rommel, in terms of the studying and all that and taking out time. That's something I actually had that discussion with one of the ladies who's in the chat right now, and she said that she found it was she went through a very similar situation, right? I won't call her out, but and I only last night I spoke to Neil. I said to Neil, I want us to look at the curious case of Carmelo Anthony, right? So for all my basketball fans, we can talk a little bit about Carmelo Anthony, right? He was a young basketball player coming up. He was with the Denver Nuggets, right? He went third in the draft, I think, Neil?
Third, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right?
2003.
Third in the draft. Some people said he could have gone second in the 2003 draft. He didn't. He went third because of what Detroit wanted at the time. Good. So he was there. He was developing himself, coming up as a young player. And then he had the opportunity to go to a contender. And for the purposes of this story, we're going to call a contender a good man. He had the opportunity to go to a contender and team up with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade in Miami. Carmelo Anthony decided he wanted all of his money. So instead of taking a little bit less money and going to Miami, he went to New York and got all of his money. Now, the thing about this, New York was not a good franchise at the time, right? So he left out being with a good man to go and be with a not so good man because he wanted to build up his career, build up his brand and all that, make some money. Cool. All right. But this is a bad situation you're in. You ain't winning. All you're getting is money, right? Now the situation didn't work out in New York, and he complaining about this man and the situation that he in. But you knew before you left where you were that this situation you were heading to was not a good situation.
Correct.
But somewhere in your brain you figured, I can make this situation work. You know, ain't a bad place. I can get my money. I can do as I like. I can bring up this situation. It didn't work out. So you left New York. Now when you finally recognize, shoot, there's a dead end. But no, you older. You past 30 years old.
Correct. You have less value.
You got less value. Legitimately less value.
Correct.
So now everybody ain't looking at you. So he ended up in Oklahoma playing there. But he didn't really fit. People didn't want him in Oklahoma. He bounced from Oklahoma, went to, I think, actually he went to Atlanta for a day. And Atlanta said, nah, we don't want him. And passed him on. Then he was outside yesterday in the wilderness by himself. No prospects. And then trying real hard to get back in the game. And then Portland, a team that has no championship aspirations. Then a ring there.
But they got the aspirations.
No, they got a ring there. Right, but the aspirations, but it's not really that happening. Not always. It's more a whole thing. So you go to Portland, hoping that you can get a ring. Then a championship parade. We call the championship parade a wedding. Then a walk up the aisle. That ain't coming. And you are 37 years old trying to make the best of a bad situation in Portland. But you had the opportunity early to say, you know what? Let me go somewhere. Let me take a little less. Let me make a little bit of sacrifice and go somewhere where he can win, where he can get that ring if the ring is important to you. But he determined it wasn't important to him at the time. And here's the challenge, right? Because I know a lot of our women say, you know, marriage isn't important. I don't need the marriage. I don't need the ring. I
A
don't
lot
need
of
this.
them are lying about that, though.
Until when they start to get up to 35, 40, 45, and they realize, you know what, the night's cold at night.
And the what? And the what?
You know?
Oh, the Lord, by her Lord so south.
You know what I mean? All of a sudden now you recognize maybe I need somebody to kind of get through the situation. I don't want to be celebrating Valentine's night because it's me and my girlfriends be out
Exactly.
for Valentine's night. Everybody else gone out with a man, and it's me and two girlfriends here celebrating over a bottle of wine. Talking about we ain't need a man, and you there so we bare belly burning.
No.
It's true.
You
But,
know what I mean?
listen, on that point, Derek, what you said is so true. This brings me to the whole purpose of relationships. For those women who are young and say, well, they don't need a man and all sorts of things, at some point, you're going to need someone to help you get up off the toilet, give you that insulin. I'm serious. Give you that insulin shot. And those who tell me, oh, my children can be here. No. Let me tell you, your children will go and lead their lives. They will fly the coop. They will fly out of the nest. Some of them may not even be in the same island. But the essential point of relationships, people, as I heard someone say, from that day that you are born to the day that you die, you see that space in between birth and death? That is to be filled with people.
The dash, man. Make the dash count. Make the dash count.
Dash is to be filled with people, love, relationships, not money, right? Because at the end of the day, I speaking personally now, I would like somebody at my bedside when I'm ready to take my last breath and look up and see my wife and my children and my family. I don't want to take it alone or in a home.
Yep.
You get me, people? So the essential purpose of man and woman interaction is the formation of a family unit, and by extension, having people in your life who are going to be there for you in the sunset of your life when health issues now become the major thing. You ain't got that big nice ass no more. Your breasts fall. Nobody ain't looking at you. But you may have got that man that you had for the last 20 years still by your side, even though he got the faults, right? So in a nutshell, I am about family. Even though I may say it harshly, and I tell women, listen, within 6 months to a year and you with a man, the man should know whether he want a life with you or not. Why? I don't get, and I can call one of foolish women, because you were got to be foolish. To God, I'm not, you know, you gotta be foolish. You know that you want to get married. You want certain things for you. And you with a man 7, 8 years that is carry you grocery shopping but can't carry you ring shopping? Huh?
I want you to say that again. Say that again, Rommel. Say that last part here. Say that last.
You with a man for years, right? That only carry you to shop for groceries, but he never carry you ring shopping. You never went Whitey Lima or none of them jewelry shops downtown. Huh? And you put up that for 7 years, and then when the man left you, my man is dogs. No, you was an idiot. You are an idiot. No, tell me, if you have goals, personal goals, they ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. If you have personal goals, right? One of your goals is, some women, I know some young women that do this. I'm telling you, I'm a teacher, and I got a performer that done got she life map out. She tell me, Mr. Miller, I want to be married by 23, by 30. I want to have 2 children by 30. Whether you think it's fantasy or not, I admire her because she has goals and she has a time stamp when she's to achieve her goals. Now, if you're a woman in her mid-30s, going into 40s, and you don't have a family yet, and you wanted a family, and you had your man for 6 or 7 years, what the ass are you still doing with him? You got to dump that man and use your assets now that they still have value to try and get somebody that in line with your outlook of life. Huh? I mean, some women is just stay with men for doggy. I saying it straight off. Yes. Yes. And women have told me this. You see that? That too sweet and let it go. But the man is no use. The man cannot help you achieve nothing you want. You just fixated on this member. And anyhow, that's for another. I divergent. That's for another topic.
All right.
But all I'm saying is, you have to got some sort of timeline when you need to achieve your goals. Your boss does not give you a project and tell you, man, take the next 6 years, take any amount of time you want to finish this project.
Finish it when you like.
Huh?
Finish it when you like.
Finish it when you like. You just got a point when you got to put it or move on.
Right.
And that's my advice to you women. Do not stay with no man who ain't helping you achieve your goals, and you got the same man 6, 7, 8 years. You cannot get back that time.
But hold on a minute. And that, Rommel Miller, is the point. The point is that I understand we talking about, this started talking about many children from many men, and we talking about women and their bodies and rate, but that is exactly the point. The point is that you should have a person, man or woman, someone that supports you in your goals and your dreams and aspirations.
Yeah.
Yes, the man-woman thing, life is about procreating and carrying on the legacy of a species, fine. But the man and woman dynamic, the relationship, the marriage, the monogamy of it all, or polygamy, wherever you enter, is all about helping you achieve best. Because what, right? I am a firm proponent that if you come into my life, or if I come into your life, I gotta leave it better than how I found it. Honestly, there have had times where I did not leave it better than I found it, and I felt like a dog. I felt like, yo, Neil, you really went and you brought your issues to this woman. You were not discerning enough in yourself. You were not self-aware enough. You could have done better as a man in the context of that relationship or engagement to make that person at least feel comfortable or better. Even though it did not work out, they could say, you know what? I will take what Neil has taught me, whether indirectly or directly, and move forward with it and implement it. Same thing with me. Any woman that I value, every woman that's come into my life, right, especially in the last 10 years, have given me some lesson that has made me a better man and the man that I am today. Right?
That is how it should
be.
be.
And that is the whole point of it. The whole point of it is that we want to hide behind, we could sleep with whoever we want. You can't tell me what to do. If I want to have 6 children from 6 different men, I could do whatever I want. If I want football with enough women and got 5 children from 5 different baby mothers, that's life in the tropics. I like women, I like sex, I don't like condoms. You are making excuses because what are your dreams and aspirations? We have to understand that a relationship takes up so much of our mental state, of our spirit, of our capacity to feel emotion. That if we got one man today, or we got one woman today, and tomorrow we got another woman, and we having sex with this body, and we still having sex with that body, but sure, even we men just tell lies, and that is detrimental to us as men. Well, you going out there lying to one woman or 2 women or 3 men just to get in the pants and have sex, and then when the child come, now you don't know what to do, so you just shut down and you move on. I know the poor child there so raising by itself, and the woman got to drag you into court every now and then, and beg you to check your child. That is the point. The point is that we have to be made better within the context of a man-woman dynamic. You have to be better. 100%. Men got to be better and women got to be better. I ain't saying I am not saying that a woman or a man will complete you. I ain't saying none of that Jerry Maguire Hollywood crap. I am saying that every person that comes into your life got to be better and make you better. If the person is not making you better and the person is bringing stress and strife, and you realize I ain't seeing the future with this, I can't marry this woman, I can't see if I got a child with this person. I am a man that I could have had a child in my 20s, though. But the reason why you didn't have a child is because I tell myself, I do not want to. Having a child don't take 10 seconds older. The app don't take 10 seconds to have a child. What's that?
True.
Right? And
It's a lifelong responsibility.
Exactly. And I said to myself that the woman I impregnate will be the woman I have it discerned that is worthy of being the parent to my child. Being the person that I thought would make me better, and we will build a life together. Now, granted, we are not together, but we went to the movies today with our son, though.
All right.
We ain't together. We ain't in nothing, but
you're in his life.
But you know what?
You're not an absentee father.
No, because he has never been to the movies, and he made mention that he won't go to the movies. So his mother called me and said, "Boy, see, you won't go to the movies. You busy today around 2 o'clock, 2:30?" I said, "No, we going to the movies." Me and the woman ain't in nothing. And that is.
But I can tell you, if you presently with a woman, I'm telling you, I was in this situation. There's some women, let me tell you, boy, you would put a roadblock.
But Rommel,
but you ex and your child. I know.
I saying it now publicly, right? To those who listening, if you are interested in me and you come into my life, you have to respect my son and his mother. I will spend time with them. Does it mean that me and she ain't something? No. But my son is more important than anything that me and you gonna build. Okay. So you know what? If you got a problem with me going to movies in the middle of the day with my son and his mother, then I am sorry, don't send in applications. It's simple like that. I will not lie to you, nor will I be unfaithful to you. I will not cheat on you. I will not go back to the woman. I will be transparent and above board. But if you feel that you could come and tell me that you got a problem with me spending time with my son and his mother, I got bad news for you, because he and his memories and his upbringing and his child rearing and how he perceives the world is so important to me that you could go along, though.
Right. But let me interject here, guys. I be devil's advocate for a little bit, because Neil, you're very adamant that whoever comes into your space needs to accept you and your son and your son's mother. But by the same token, the women can say the same thing. But who comes in. So you as you want the women to accept you and your son. Women should expect that a man would accept them. But that's
the point. That is the point. Do you understand, when you have a child, you are raising the next generation. You ain't gonna live forever. Your child is gonna take up the mantle of governance, of menial labor, of white collar, blue collar. Your child is gonna have to be a functional adult in your society. So if a woman come and tell me, "Yo, this is my child," I had a woman tell me one time we had dated for 8 months or a year or something like that. I have not met the woman child yet. And there was a problem. I said, why you ain't let me meet your child? She said, "Cause I want to know that you sticking around, though. I ain't just bringing everybody around my child." And I respected that, especially when I became a father. So, of course, I want a woman to tell me that. Of course, I want a woman to prioritize their child and their child's well-being and their father. Shoot, if I get involved with a woman and she got a child, why want the father to be there, though? Because that is not my role. That is not my job. I can only do so much as a stepfather. So if the man is present and she tell me, "Well, babes, I get in the movies here, so with Bob, and we carry the children that we had together or whatever," go ahead. If I end up getting horned because of that, I gotta take that L. But you know what? I gotta understand that their children or the child takes more priority than I do. We do not prioritize the children or the family. We don't prioritize it. We out here living the best life. Hot girl summer. Bad as they want to be. What we call it? What the men just call them? I can't remember, gigolo life or whatever. Right? We out here living the best life, right? Dropping children willy-nilly, and then when the children don't turn out to be nothing, or the children turn out to got problems or got issues and want therapy and all sorts of stuff, got the social constructs in them. I don't want the therapy. I don't know how to talk to a woman, or a woman don't know how to treat a man, or don't know how to be with a man, or whatever. We have problems, though. And that is my problem. The problem is, Rommel has said it is about family. We may not agree on his delivery, but we understand the message. It is about family. right? And I know people can get up in arms of how things are said and how a value is assigned or whatever, right? But the point is that if you have multiple children with multiple fathers, if you have multiple children with multiple women and mothers, there is little to the security and stability.
You devalue yourself.
Rommel, forget the woman and the man. The stability within the child gone. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That is the
Okay.
problem. The
Yes.
problem is we started to think about ourselves too much, and this is why we avoiding accountability, though. All of a sudden, now I could do what I want. If I want to have sex with 10 men and got 8 children, that's my life. But then when you don't have you in the paper now saying she's on got 8 children, I can't afford man, I ain't got the father about here nor there like that. You in paper crying, the children ain't got the clothes, they ain't getting a proper education because you can't send school the children, or you can't afford the tablets or the Wi-Fi or whatever to have education for the child. Who fault that is though?
But and not only that, it is this we have come to accept this as normal. It is an abnormality.
Yes.
Listen, women, your grandparents and great grandparents have something that you do not have: a husband, right? As much as you may not want to admit it, statistically, if you look at it, because of the whole social stigma that used to be associated with a woman who wasn't married and being pregnant, there were more marriages and so on in your grandmother's and your great grandmother's time, regardless. But I want to leave a piece of advice with the women because, like I say, I love women. I'm not anti-women. But your enemy is not men. Your greatest enemy is your fellow women.
Whoa.
Listen, I can tell you, if you single and you hope to get married, drop a lot of them single women friends you got. Look for married people to be friends. You know why? I'm speaking from experience. Listen. You may meet a man, he may be a plumber, he ain't got no fancy job, he ain't went university, but he is a good man.
Lord.
Listen, good man, interested in you, want to make a life with you. You go to dinner and you introduce him to your best friends. You know what's saying? Them your so-called best friends that's supposed to have your best interest in heart. A lot of them say, man, you could do better than him. He too black. Huh? No, I'm serious. Man, he too black. Yo, but he ugly though. He knows big. When the children listen, it sounds funny, but I speak in fact. And because of that group dynamic and that the influence your besties have on you, you like a good man slip away who may have been a great father to your children, who may have been honest, hardworking, faithful, dedicated, committed over nonsense. The women group dynamic that I'm aware of. If you got 4 women in a group, first one get married. She ain't part of that group no more, you know, cause she got she husband, children. She ain't in that group now. The second one gone from that 4 group thing. I'm telling you, you see them other 2 that left? None of them. Exactly. Thank you. So women, get a lot of men friends in your life, not for sexual purposes, but to hear a man's perspective, how we think, because women feel they know what we want and how we think, but they do not.
Listen, my man Derek got staying, right? Doves, but not Derek, sorry. Our friend Choco Minaj. Shout out Choco. Doves just fly with doves. If you just always say, if you want to become rich, you want to be a billionaire or a millionaire, you want to be a mogul in business, associate yourself with moguls. Associate yourself with those. If you want to be married and to be the best married person out there, align yourself with people that are married. That is simple. No, so many things going on here. The chat is going crazy. Marsha is asking, do you love women, or rather do you love the idea of what you think a woman should be?
Question is for who? Me?
That's for you. You're the only person that we're here saying that you
If I love women or I love
or-
what?
The idea.
or you like you love the
Of what you
idea of
think
what
they
women
should
should be.
Well, I have my own opinions on both aspects. I do believe that women are supposed to be a particular thing. You women are not supposed to be anything, you know. Let me tell you, for me, right? A woman is supposed to be nurturing, right? I need a nurturing woman. A woman is supposed to be attentive. And I know, even before I say, I know I can get backlash by saying it. Most men want a traditional woman. If you don't know what traditional mean, let me explain what traditional mean for a lot of you modern women, right? Pressing your man's clothes does not make you a maid. Cooking your man's food does not make you a maid. Huh? Washing your man's underwear does not make you a maid or a slave. You see that thing called marriage? When you sign up for marriage, it comes with some dirty jobs and some clean ones. A lot of women, oh Lord, I can't talk about this relationship that I used to have, but that's for another talk. So let me get back to the point. A man want a traditional woman. I ain't saying that you gotta press my clothes all the time. But my God, what's wrong with you? I come up in a two-parent home where every Sunday I saw my mother faithfully put up that ironing board. And I know the modern day women can say that them ain't doing that. And press all of my father work clothes for the whole week. Then press all of the school clothes for the whole week. Traditional. Like I said, I ain't saying that you should do it all the time. Women, I want a woman that could cut. I don't care how good you look. If you can't cut, disqualified. No, seriously. I don't care what you say. You see, cooking, that is one of the most important qualifications a woman can have.
Hold on a minute, Rommel.
Right?
Hold on a minute. I know how people can get. Can you cook?
Yeah.
So then no,
But it's not my but it's not my forte.
Okay.
I can, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will stay
It's not my forte, but that isn't the reason I want cooking as a qualification, you know. Because women feel that, oh, I ain't cooking for the man. But my God, ain't just me you cooking for. You can got children, you got to cook for too. You can carry them girl and ship it in Kentucky every day. So you want a family who assuming the roles. So when I say that a woman shouldn't just be anything, I mean a woman. There are roles for men and women, and I believe that I don't want no masculine woman.
Whoa.
I don't want no bossy woman. No. I don't want a woman with more testosterone and balls than me.
No.
I run in my household.
No, I understand what you're saying, right? Because we have said this on this show many, 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 many times. We have said we want women to be traditional, and we've always been met with backlash. What does traditional mean? You've just said it. We understand, I can call some curse words here now, Rommel, so bear with me, right? Submission, right? We often say that submission, and Laura is here saying, why can't the roles be shared? That is exactly it. Watch it, Laura. This is what we are saying by traditional women. If Rommel said that his forte is not cooking, Rommel and his wife together, and they come to the mutual consensus that she can handle the cooking because Rommel ain't too pretty with it. What's wrong with that?
Right.
Rommel is submitting to his wife in the aspect of cooking. Rommel may not like.
But listen, but when all of that bush all around the house want cutting, they don't call you, you know?
Exactly. Huh? And the thing is, right, when we say traditional, that is how it looks for you. For another couple, it may look like the man takes care of the cooking and the woman goes out and cut the grass. If that is how that dynamic works. When we say traditional, we mean someone that is willing. Somebody, as Rommel says, somebody ain't got more testosterone than me, though. I don't want another man in the relationship.
Man got to lead. And this is where I can cut men ass. When a man doesn't lead and a woman step into the breach, you cannot blame her because you's a weak-ass man. Right?
Yeah.
A man is the lead. And when I say lead, I ain't talking about boss round. I'm talking about taking the primary responsibility for a man's family should be the man, right? You deal with the hard issues. Whatever issue come up, you representing because you're the head of your family and you're out front, right? I mean, if a man had to, a lot of women, and I heard somebody with this analogy, and it's so true, a lot of women want is equal rights. But if a man breaking this house right now, darling, I ain't pushing my wife, I ain't gonna touch you, or you take this one, wifey.
You're sharing that responsibility. You're sharing that responsibility. Yep.
No, right? No, men have to lead. We have to set the example. We got to be strong leaders. The thing you talk about submission is another thing as well. Women, listen, stop using sex as a weapon against your husbands and your boyfriends. Let me tell you, listen, because sex is one of the easiest things for a man to get. So you ain't doing nothing when you keep your legs shut up because you vex. You're not doing us anything because
No, Rommel. The reason why I am holding my mouth, right? And I am shocked, and I are constantly shocked at the fact people come on this show, don't know about Red Pill Life, don't know about the Manosphere, don't even watch this podcast. And we are all, we have said this before, multiple times in previous podcasts.
No, women just do it.
Yes.
I can understand you vex with your husband, but you going on days and days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks, and you saying that the man must put up with this? Huh?
But this is the thing, right? The thing is, one of our first episodes ever on this podcast, Derek did some research on Maslow's, right, Derek? Yep. Maslow's hierarchy, hierarchy of needs, right? Where shelter, clothing, and everything comes into play. What a human needs to feel secure, whole, complete, emotionally, physically, and all the needs, right? On the very basic rung, the first fundamental thing, sex in there, though.
Yeah, of
sex
course.
In there.
Men are very sex. Well, we are like primates. We going back down to the caveman thing. Sex is important for a man.
Yep.
It's important. So do not you can use anything else you feel like as a weapon, but as you go there, you're going to cause more harm than good to your relationship. Don't use that, women. Use that, women. Honestly.
I find it interesting, as you said, Neil, that we all kind of say the same things in different ways, and we've never had a discussion before, right? Kwame says the thing about tradition is that it can still be outsourced. If we can afford a maid, then still have to manage that situation to our nurturing and family standards. If we can afford a chef, ditto, and gardening, etc. Right? Mm-hmm. Crystal, welcome. Good to see you as always. Crystal says, what about when the woman is playing the traditional role, but the man is also expecting her to be a shared breadwinner too? Because that's what's expected of a lot of modern women who are willing to be feminine and submissive.
Question, Crystal. Right? Now, this is why you are to discuss. A lot of people just fall into relationships before they discuss certain issues, right? Now, let me tell you my own personal example. Before I was married, my wife and I, we sat down, right? We look at income, we look at all the other important things we should look at. And at the end of the day, I told my wife, listen, I want you to stay at home and take care of the children. Let me deal with the finances, right? If things get real tough and you need to find a job, what have you, then we would do that. But that was our agreement, right?
I want you to specify that was an agreement and not you say you stop home and don't do nothing.
No. We agreed to that before we married. That was the agreement that I was going to deal with the finance, everything. She was going to deal with the family, right? Now, we are going 4 years strong with that agreement, right? Now, I can tell anybody, my wife is take care of me. You know, I'm gonna women that start, but when I'm pampering a man, I can tell you, I just get, oh my God, thank you for my wife. She's the best woman on earth. She's pampering me, right? When I come home, my food does be there. Not just lunch, dinner too, done there, right? My clothes is get washed, right? I am a man, I like pressing though, I must say. So I would stand up because pressing is the time I just stay where a lot of ideas is flow and I just think.
Right.
So I would say I just do the pressing, right? But if I in a hurry or anything, she would do that too, right? I have a traditional woman. And to throw the cats into the among the pigeons now, I'm going to state this. Most Bajan women are not like my wife. Most Bajan women are not like my wife because I'm going to give the audience a little background in my life. My wife isn't Bajan. She's Latina. She's Colombian. I used to live and work in Central and South America for years. You tend to create relationships where you live, right? And culturally, the cultural differences between how they are raised as women and how Bajan women are raised as women is so wide, right? That if I gotta tell my wife now, listen, man, my toenails getting real long. She can go and look for the click on and click them.
I cannot.
You want something I'm telling you?
But hold on. And this is not you. And this is not you. And this is not you demanding her do it. This is.
No. She always preempts me. If the rain even set up and I going through the door for work, and she's meet me with an umbrella. I'm not exaggerating. No, I'm not. And the thing about it is, she's a professional, engineer down there. So what I am saying is, tell me what Bajan professional woman that went and studied can do what I just told you about. But you know why she does it? Because their culture is different. And I know there are a lot of women would say, that's what Bajan women want. We want people to be them maids and things. It has nothing, and that is why Bajan women, a lot of different ethnic Bajan men getting so desperate and fed up with a lot of Bajan women that they're choosing to look outside of Barbados when they're ready to settle down with a woman from another nationality, and y'all can't seem to understand why. Huh?
I know at least two close friends who have already gone that route.
Yep.
No, I'm serious. As I was explaining, I think it was you, Derek. In Central and South America, you would see the most beautiful, gorgeous, damn women doing. I mean, when these women so beautiful that if they were in Barbados, Belgian women won't get looked at twice by us men. And I know what I'm telling you. And the thing about it is, because beautiful women is like a dime a dozen in down there. Nobody focuses. The women down there don't focus that much on beauty per se. Their focus isn't a lot on beauty. You know what? Their focus is down there, especially I can tell you about the Latina culture. Family, family, finding a husband, having families. And if you check the statistics, Black women are the ethnic group where more than 70% of Black women will never be married, never find a husband. And I know a lot can say, oh, I want to be married, but that ain't true for a lot of them, right? Then above us is white people, about 55% of white women does get married. And then above them, there's be Latina women in the high 60s. About 6 out of 10 Latina women at some point can find a husband. And I'm saying it all comes down to what I first talked about of having traditional women. The roles have been so confused because of feminism that women don't seem to understand what their role is anymore.
Mm.
That's my
well,
I came back my point.
right. I mean, I'm glad that you brought the statistics when it comes to not being married, right? And I want the single women in here, the women that are single, that are not married. Do you want to be married? Do you want a partner? Do you want to have a commitment to someone, a man, for the long term?
Question.
I really want to know that because, as Rommel said, a lot of women say they don't want to be married. They don't need a man. My question.
Not only that, ask the follow-up question. And if they don't want to be married, what is the alternative?
Well, there you go. So yeah, women, you can answer that in the chat. There, I don't know if you want to dive into the comments. I mean, the comments going crazy. I don't even know if we could.
Crazy a little
I don't know
bit.
if we could catch up.
I be already at that kind of time.
For real?
So yeah.
Man, no, but hold on.
Time.
Remember, we start late. I don't know if you want. Because we really and truly, this live has only been going for 1 hour and 37 minutes. So I don't know if you.
Yeah. But we had a lot tonight.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And I would like to invite Rommel back to really
anytime,
because we still haven't even gone past the first.
She ain't got to scratch the surface. And you know what I find. You know what I find very interesting about this discussion is that a lot of people would have heard read Rommel's comment that Stephanie would have put up on the Chase Files. A lot of people would have engaged you on your posts and everything like that. Shoot, at the beginning of this podcast, a lot of people probably still have that thought, no, that you really are misogynist, that you don't love women and all sorts of things. But you know what I'm finding? I am finding even though you may come over as an agitator, even though your speech is not pulling any punches, we are essentially coming from the same space where women and men have a divide and a disconnect within their own communities and together, right? We Black men, we out here doing the most. We out here dropping children as we like. We ain't paying attention to the women. We closed off emotionally. We, feeling that these women should be porn stars or these women should be slaves. Women feeling as though they don't need a man, that they're foregoing relationships and the family bearing years to have their education and their profession, and later on in life realizing that, as Derek likes to say, they're hitting the wall and they're not, fulfilling certain things that they really want. Now, I want people to understand this, right? You may feel a ways about Rommel and how he brings over things or how he says things. You may feel a way about Derek and myself about how we say things and we bring over things. But the fact remains, right? You cannot deny that the thought process within both communities, in the Black community, needs to be addressed. Men need to check men and hold them accountable. Women need to check women and be accountable. So all of this, who tell he that he could got agency that he could assign value to a woman and how he could say this and who is he to say that. I bet you he don't. What you doing to in your community to check your women? If you don't need a man, if you feel that your men ain't shit, you feel as though that men aren't good fathers and men doing the most and men doing whatever, right? Why when you lonely at the night and you really want companionship? We out here, you know, and we men are holding each other accountable. Well, some of us.
I need to make a point. You know, women there's the same value to men, you know.
But wait, Rommel, no. I mean, Rommel.
Women there's the same value to men.
Talk the things, Rommel. Talk the things.
But that's why I find it so funny that women talk about how dare I assign value to women. But when it's assign value to be all the time,
Yep.
the man that's bringing the most money or has the most potential to supply what your needs may be, them is the men that one of us go after. Huh?
Or the man that got the good wood. Shoot, we had a woman.
Exactly,
we had a woman.
right?
We had a woman tell us that a man. Sorry, not somebody sent us. There was a meme Derek put up. There was something Derek put up that a man must have at least 6-7 inches of penis, though.
Okay. Huh?
Yeah.
No,
And
no.
they generally approach it too from the perspective. And silly, I go kept Frank cutting. He said a couple of weeks ago, women will say, "What are you doing for me?" And to kind of break that down and open it up, so we really see what the question is asking: what value are you bringing to me and my current situation? So you're right, Rommel.
And the more educated it is, the more men that is reject, you know, because man, I went to university, man. I can't like this man. He's just a carpenter.
He gotta be on my level. He gotta be on my level. He gotta be on my level. They got some women. Hold on a minute. They even gotta be a plumber, Rommel. They got some women out there that got their degrees, got their masters, got their education, but because a man does not have those things, no, he ain't a plumber. The man could be a professional. The man could be an entrepreneur. The man could be
a the
man could no, but not all right. There, behave. I know you like to do that, right? But what I'm saying is the man, myself. Hold on. There and myself, we ain't got no masters in nothing. Me and Derek ain't got no big degrees in nothing. You know what I mean? Yes, we may have got certificates here, we may have got a degree here or whatever, but some of these women that have approached us and that have engaged us are doctors, are lawyers, are all of these different things. And they recognize that even though we may not have the paper and the degrees, one, we take care of our responsibilities, and two, they understand the type of men we are. So there are some women out there that automatically gonna ask you, so, you know, what's your education? Like you said, man, look, I only got a little certificate here and a little degree here. Oh, now you...
No, they don't ask. They're not, a little more subtle.
Yeah, we went to school. Oh, Lord, we went to school.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yes.
We were in school.
Oh. I went to St. Leonard's. I went to the pretty school.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. The thing is that I've learned early on in life, right, is that it does not matter where you go to school. I know geniuses that went to lower tier schools or newer secondary schools, as they like to say. I didn't know some idiots that went to bigger schools, right? So it does not matter. You say you went to St. Leonard's, Rommel, I don't know you. You sound articulate. You sound intelligent. I don't understand why we have put up these, and we talked about this on previous show about actually last week. We talked about lowering expectations. Women want a man to be a superman. He must be this, he must be that, he must be the next, he must be the third, he must be the fourth, he must be the fifth, he must be the sixth, right? That is what they want. They want what you want. But as soon as you say you want a traditional woman, as soon as you say you want a woman to cater to you or pamper to you or to allow you to be a leader or to submit, it is a problem. We all of a sudden know part of the patriarchal system. And this is where the divide comes. It is like women want what they want, and that is fine. But when men want what they want, that is a problem. When we come from a position of saying, we don't want porn stars. We don't want a woman to bow down and say, yes, Lord and Master. We don't want that. We want a woman to hold us accountable too. Correct. But we don't want, as Rommel said, we do not want a woman that got the same size balls or bigger balls than we. Sure, we don't want a woman with balls.
No, we don't want them. And there are too many women out there with the testosterone too high. You hear it? They're always argumentative. They must always win an argument. Why?
Need to be right. That's what it's called. Need to be right.
To be right.
And the thing is, Rommel, a lot of people have said the reason why women are like that is because of the system, because of experiences, because of being ill-treated, because of sexual abuse, because of abuse, period. So they put up these walls. They have to be single mothers. They have to be CEOs. They have to be this. They have to be that. So they have to compete, essentially, with men to maintain some semblance of progress or opportunity within the workforce and outside the world. But here's what I have to say, and I've said it in this space before. There is no problem with you being out there and competing with men in the world of work. If you are in the world of work, if you have your child, you have to be a boss lady, you have to be a boss bitch, you got to be a diva, do that. But when you come home, feminine energy. Just like if I got to go out there and I got to be a boss, a CEO, I got to get mine, I got to be aggressive, I got to be whatever I am. You don't want me bringing that attitude to you when I come home. You do not want me come home and say, "You're tune, right? I want my food in here. I want it cooked." Because that's how it's taught to my people at work. Huh? So to me, I understand. If you had to raise your testosterone level, if you have to put on this facade, if you have to survive in the world by putting on this attitude, so be it. But when you come home, this is men and women. When you come home, you got to left the world outside though. You have to remember what the mission is in the household. You got to remember what's the mission, because there is a mission. And if y'all have never talked about a mission statement, then y'all seriously put the cart before your horse.
And women talk about being a housewife as though it is something negative. Let me tell you, housework is a job. That is why it is recognized as such by law, right? I can remember in my ignorance, one time I was with a prominent attorney who was a politician who lives in my neighborhood. And when I first moved in, built my house in the neighborhood 4 years ago, and came over because I knew him from another life. I used to be a prison officer for years, by the way. Mm-hmm. Anyhow, so I made a mistake when I told him, no, he asked me what is my wife's profession or what she does, and I said, oh, she's just a housewife for now. And he man raped me over because he said, housewife? Housewife is a big job, buddy. Don't be belittling the sort of work and talent and dedication it is.
Hard work, B. Hard work, B. Especially with children involved. Hard work, B.
Hard work, right? She's got to remind me. She would come and tell me, okay, Rommel, remember the light bill due X day. The gas, this thing, you got to do the next. She's keeping me by my toes.
She holds you accountable.
I'm accountable, and that was the deal. I can take care. You deal with the family and the house and the home and stuff like that. I can take care of everything else. You know? Sometimes if she doesn't want to go to the supermarket, when I out through the door, she hand me a list. This is what we need. That's what the house needs to keep functioning, you know? Yeah. She ain't even asked me if I got the money or not, because that's not her concern.
And you are submitting to her in that regard.
I am submitting to her. Even if I don't have the money, I can find the money.
Okay, then.
I ain't gonna tell she, man, they ain't no money this month to buy food, or they ain't no money this month to carry you to get you mammogram. But that's my responsibility. Yeah. So find the money. So she doesn't have to ask me if I got money. I should got the money. That's what I signed up for.
That's what you both signed up for.
That's what we both signed up for. So if she's keeping her side of the bargain, I need to keep my side of the bargain too. Because like I told you, these are things we discussed before we got married. What type of home do we want? What type of family do we want? Are we both going to work? Are we going to put the children in their nursery? What are we going to do? What is the best fit for us? That can fit everybody.
Fact.
Because a lot of women ain't gonna want to give up the professions and become housewives. Because you know, they spend all these years for letters behind the name, and there's a status thing going on.
Societal norms.
When my friends ask me what you doing, I can't tell them that I'm a housewife. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So my agreement and fit is not going to be a fit for everybody, but it fits us perfectly. And at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for. We ain't looking to impress nobody, right? We ain't looking to score points based on the type of job we have. Our focus is making sure that our children come up in a stable environment, right? Giving our children the best opportunity to be the best of them. They ain't coming up in that environment where they're seeing abuse. They ain't coming up in that environment where they're suffering hunger, where they're hearing me calling the mother all sorts of dirty names, where they may seeing the fighting, so much so if my wife and I we have to have a discussion, not an argument, a discussion, my voice loud. And my daughter sees that interaction. She does my youngest daughter is 4. She does feel we quarreling and I just gotta lower my voice so that she understand no mommy and daddy ain't quarreling. We just having a because she ain't accustomed to that.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Mm.
Because we are protecting their childhood. We want them to remain as children for as long as we possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know out in the real world, they got real wolves and hyenas out
Oh, they're
there.
rough, Rommel. Wait.
Huh? You understand what I mean? So our children that's our main focus. So even, and I know a lot of people may not agree with me, but even if our relationship were to take a nosedive because of our children, I ain't going away because you know what I can tell you. The most important thing is duty and
Oh
commitment.
my God. Oh, Bumba Claw.
Oh,
Listen,
seriously,
fat. No,
you
fat.
got
Fat. Because I said it in this space too. Love is the first initial thing. But then coming out of love is duty and commitment. Because then got some years they ain't got no love. Then got years you could be like, I can't stand the sight of he. I can't stand the sight
and
of she.
hence
But there's a commitment.
and hence are you pushing families because you see duty and commitment? What duty and commitment you got to a man and your husband?
Oh,
You see how it all ties in. You see how it all ties in,
I
right?
got the
That's
vapors. I
why
got the vapors. Woo.
that's why single women, when they're done with a man, they can tell you go back to your mother.
Quite literally. Quite literally.
No, I'm
Quite
serious
literally.
because there's no duty to you, you know.
Mm-mm.
Not in a commitment because you are my husband,
There's an easy out.
right?
Easy out.
Your wife.
You got easy out.
Easy out. So I tired of you. Easy. I can just flip you like you would flip a house, buy a house cheap and then fix it up and flip it. Because then a commitment there. But what marriage does, and there's something that's why I pushing marriage for young women. What marriage does, all marriages is a relationship that the law recognizes and imposes certain level of responsibility to the two. And the marriage is a relationship too, you
Not a
know,
partnership.
not a partnership.
Oh.
No, ain't a partnership. No, it's not a partnership. It's not a partnership. It's a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
right? Saying saying you don't want marriage. If you could live with a man, you could breed for a man. When I'm living under the same roof, what's the big difference with getting married? No, seriously. How much big of a step is it for you to get married? You already give the man children. You and the man already cohabitating. Why, why you can't get married? No, seriously. And the problem is too many modern day women, they want children, but they don't want marriage. So it means if you're saying that's why I tell you to ask the girl what is the alternative then
Mm-hmm.
if she said she did not want to be married. So basically, I'm going to assume that she still wants a family. So basically, you're choosing, if you had a choice to make between the best thing, the better thing, and a good thing, superlatives, good, better, best, all three laid out on a table before you. What you gonna choose the good thing?
But you see, Rommel, no. But here's the joke. No, some people will tell you that
Not as bad
it's not as
as.
bad as. It's all subjective. People can say no that it may not. That who say marriage is the best thing for them. Marriage may not be the best thing. Before you continue, we got a question from a fan. A person in the chat. Shout out Winsome, a lossy thing. Okay, Winsome. Good night. Thank you for your comment. Good night, gentlemen. Good night to your guest and to all listening tonight. Question for Mel: as a prison officer, did you interact much with male inmates? If yes, did you pick up from them what their general attitudes were toward women?
Well, of course. I even wrote an article for how many of y'all know Kim that wrote Barbados most
Oh yeah,
notorious
yeah, yeah, yeah,
criminal.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, when she was doing her her research, when she was at university doing her research, this would have been in the 90s. I was a prison officer. I am the prison officer, and she can confirm this. Who used to bring, because I was the librarian at the prison and education officer at the prison, right? Because education is my thing. I am the officer that used to bring her all of these prisoners to interview and so on. But to answer the second part of the question, of course, I used to interact with all these prisoners. I mean, I even wrote a piece on Alfred Harden. I in that piece, I may share it with the group sometime. I stated Alfred Harden was the most intelligent prisoner I've ever known in my life. And if he could have gone to university from his cell, Alfred Harden would have had a PhD. The reason I wrote that article was that a man tried to belittle Alfred Harden's intelligence because he spent most of his time in prison, and he was eventually killed by police in St. Lucia. So knowing Alfred Harden personally made me write that article. It was a rebuttal for what the man said, and I will share it. But basically, the men in prison, a lot of men in prison have at least I'm speaking for the time that I was there, not all, but I would say from my interaction with the men there, a lot of them have very negative views of women based on their upbringing. And I can segue into linking this into my whole rationale for writing these articles. Those women who claim that they don't want marriage and marriage isn't for them. You women, single parent women that want to do the job of both man and women, you are raising the men that you are eventually going to hate. The men that you eventually are despising and calling the dogs. These men, you women raise them, you know. These same men that you call dogs, if you check the statistics again, most of them came up in single parent households. Look at the statistics. Why is marriage important? Because it has a social importance. It plays a social role. The majority of men in prison, when you check their educational background, their social background, how they were raised, the majority of them came up in single parent households where there was no father or the father was absent from their lives. And you trying to tell me that men ain't important? Men, I ain't gonna say the most important, but men, without us, you women are nothing. Without men, You women are nothing. And if you want your children to have the best outcomes, hence I said, if you had a choice between three things, good, better, and best, why would you choose good? If you want the best outcomes for your children and for yourselves, it would be better for you to have your children in an environment that is wholesome and where the child is not just going to be seeing you as the mother, where he's going to see the father. Whether it is under um, the relationship of marriage or whether it's going to be under the relationship of cohabitation, which is legally is some form of marriage too. They call it common law marriage, right? Because if a man and woman cohabitating and they're having children, it is a marriage. Whether you went and signed documents in a church or a law court, by all intents and purposes, you're married. So getting back to the question, yes, I interacted with some of Barbados' most notorious criminals, and a lot of them have a lot of aggression towards women. And that aggression is a result of trauma in their childhood, things they were exposed to when they should have been shielded from, right? Because we got to shield our children. That's what protects their psyche, because a child cannot assimilate. A young girl, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, cannot assimilate a grown man inside of her. That shouldn't happen. It is like picking a mango off the tree before it ripe. You can't enjoy it. You just destroy your whole mango. You should have left it on the tree for another couple of weeks and let mature and thing and so on. And that is the thing. So yes, I have had a lot of interaction. I was a prison officer for 10 years. I've seen, in fact, that was the best job I've ever had in my life. I have seen things that I would never have seen if I had never taken that job. I see suicides. I see murders in prison. I see people died from AIDS. I have seen it all.
Damn.
I'm talking about the organ dairy though, not the women.
Yeah.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it all. I've seen things to traumatize me. I've seen a man on top of the very roof of the prison. Yeah, he had some issues, psychological issues. And I saw the whole prison yard. Rather than encourage the man to come down, the whole bunch, the whole prison, the prisoners tell me, jump, you idiot, jump. And when this man jumped and he splatter out, all the head splatter up in there. You know, when you at a match, girl, and your team score a goal, how everybody is celebrate? You hear? Yeah, yeah. That is what I'm talking. That traumatized me when I saw that, right? So I am telling you that a lot of these men in prison and the recidivists, the ones that keep coming back, they have been traumatized by their upbringing. So when I speak, I'm speaking from a lot of experience that people don't know. So when you hear me pushing families, I know what I'm pushing because we were not there during the conception of that little boy or little girl. But if you're not a suitable mother or capable mother or was ready to be a mother, that child is going to be a problem for the society as a whole. So I have a right to be pushing families and to be telling y'all women, don't just go around there dropping children, because I've seen it. I have seen it. My first wife, she was a probation officer. I was working at the prison. She was a probation officer. So we were dealing with delinquency. She studied sociology at the university while I studied foreign languages. And just to let you guys know, I speak Spanish, French, and German fluently. That's my thing. That's why I was living in South and Central America, right? Because I was working for a company as a business development officer, and all of the company's customers were from South America. So that's why I had to go there to deal with that. But what I'm saying is, sometimes when I say things, I'm saying things because I know from what I've seen, from experience, women, it was not meant for you to raise children on your own. I know some of you were not given a choice because the man left. And as I say, I'm dealing with men now, but at some point, we men, we gonna need to examine some of the things we do. But you see, people don't extrapolate to the macro effects. People just think, oh, this is my child, right? This is my child. But when you cannot raise your child in the way that it was supposed to be raised, it now becomes a problem for society. Your child may take my child's life. Huh? We talking about crime in Barbados. Let me extrapolate, because everything that going on in society emanates from the family unit. Barbados in 2019 had the worst murder rate ever in the history of this country. Murders going through the roof. Now tell me, I want women to answer me truthfully. Most of those young men that are being murdered, do you think they're coming from homes with daddy and mommy, and they came from homes with a stable environment? I'm talking about the exceptions. No, you women are raising them. You raising all them killers out there, pulling triggers and killing people, you know? You. So I am telling you, the best outcome for your children as a woman, as a mother, is not you raising them alone. So before you have children with a man, make sure that this man has substance. Make sure that you ain't just dropping children from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men, you know, because it's going to have an effect not just on you, but as I just tried to explain and extrapolate out to the society as a general, your children can be society's burden. I'm not raising my children to be a burden on society. So why should you?
Yeah, man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
that's it.
We punch it tonight. Everybody, we reached that time. We passed that time. Check us out, the Senate Podcast here on Facebook and on YouTube. The Senate Podcast 246 on IG. Also send it in session@gmail.com. Rommel, we gotta bring you back and we really dig down. Because I
have enough experiences to share. Not enough relationship-wise, experiences that can be useful to people that have delinquent children giving them trouble. You know, I got enough experience under my belt.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
So
and a lot of
we can definitely gonna have you back. So to everybody out there watching tonight, we had a barn burner tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been great. It's been awesome. We don't make the rules, but we just make sure you know them. And as always, be the best version of you for you. We will see you guys on Thursday.
All right, good night, everybody. Stay safe. Love all.
All right. Invite, and I will come back anytime you guys need me.
All right,
no problem, man.
All right. All right, good night, everybody.
All right,
bye.
Cool. Take care.
So come wind back for me. I wanna see if we got good chemistry. And come wind up for me. Don't hold back, y'all, just be free. I love how you dance and show up, show up.